Gotta watch them all, am I right, trainers? In my quest to do all the Pokemon, not in the usual way, today I am watching all of the Pokemon movies, but with a twist. Not gonna get into it, but I had a lot of free time on my hands, so I decided to watch all 24 Pokemon films in 1 week. And now I have depression. Now personally, I stopped watching these Pokemon movies around Gen 5 and hadn't seen a Pokemon movie until Deadpool 1.5. And all the ones I have seen, I haven't watched them in a decade, so I don't even remember what happens in them. So this video is obviously a very spur-of-the-moment thing, so I didn't really record myself watching them or record my thoughts afterwards, but I did write down a lot of notes, so I'm basically just going to give my general thoughts and ideas I had while watching them from what I written down and from what I remember. So I hope you're not coming in here expecting raw critical analysis of these children's movies. Anyways, I'm tired. If you hear noise outside, there is currently a storm going on for some reason, so if you hear anything, it's probably that. So let's watch some Pokemon. Well, I guess I'll tell you my thoughts on Pokemon because I've already watched. Well, here it is, the one that started it all. Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. We don't talk about what he's striking back from. I was pretty excited to watch this. I haven't seen the first movie in forever, and I've not seen the remake that came out a few years ago. You're some weirdo who has never seen this movie before. The first movie is about Mewtwo after escaping from the lab he was created in and later Team Rocket. He develops a hatred for humans due to his origins of being a clone of the mythical Pokemon Mew, hence the name, and having no value outside of being a clone of a legendary Pokemon. So he sequesters himself at the island he was created at and invites trainers, including our heroes Ash, Misty, and Brock, to the island so he can make clones of their Pokemon to balance what he sees as an unfair relationship of trainers pretty much owning and controlling their Pokemon. So I kind of love slash dislike this movie. My nostalgia definitely kicked in for things like the intro with the remix theme, Ash walking in with all the original Pokemon, and that scene that scarred us all for life. I also think the animation and pacing is pretty good, but there were so many moments in this where I just tuned out. Really felt like keys were just dangling in front of me, kind of a spoiler for a future video, but I do not care when I see Pokemon battles on screen. At least in the movie they look way better than the anime, but I don't really care because I can obviously tell where this is going, so the fights mean nothing to me. Then there's Team Rocket just wandering around. Yeah, they discover some plot for us, but I think that went on for too long and it wasn't really that funny. Even during moments when the movie was properly building up atmosphere and tone, I was just thinking, alright, get on with it, we all know how this is gonna end. And that's when I realized, I'm daddy. When I first watched this movie, I was a children, and now I can make children. I'm now that parent that would take their kid to these and not understand the appeal of them at all. Because like, let's be honest, all these movies are commercials, let's not bullshit it. You know, back when these movies came out, our parents didn't care, we didn't care, we really wanted to see these movies so we can get those exclusive promo Pokemon cards. That's why we bitched and moaned until they took us enough time so we can get all of them. The movie is fine for what it is, it's nothing amazing, but it's also not really shit. There was just this thing in the back of my head, you know, telling me I was wasting my money and time as an adult. Honestly, I think the only reason I do like it is for nostalgic reasons. I wonder if anyone who didn't grow up with Pokemon would even enjoy this movie. Also, why this song? What the fuck? One thing you may notice when watching this movie is that it's only 1 hour and 15 minutes long, pretty short for a film, and if you don't know why that is, then you're lamer than I thought. Because of the Pikachu short, of course, these are fucking godlike, but there's not really much to talk about in a video. These would usually play at the beginning of movies, kind of similar to, you know, Pixar shorts in a way. Pikachu's Vacation sees Pikachu and the less marketable ones competing with some other Pokemon in various competitions, and that's about it. Yeah, it's a short, and it's a great time. The animation is great, the timing for the comedy hits just right, and of course all the Pokemon are adorable as all hell. And the music, which I can't play, is catchy as hell. Okay, I'll play a little bit. If you want a nice anime-length short, then check it out. Honestly, it has me hyped for the rest of these movies. Sure, I didn't like all of the first movie, but not everyone loves their first time, you know? Plus, it's the first movie. Pokemon had barely been on for like a year at this point, you know? I'm not gonna be too harsh. They're still figuring shit out. I mean, it can only get better from here, right? So like I said, the Pikachu shorts come before the movies, so I'm going to talk about them first from here on out. And no, I'm not going to be talking about all the other ones that were released on like airplanes or just online. I'm only talking about them if they appeared before the movie in the dub. Pikachu's Rescue is actually the one I remember the most. The intro animation with that fucking banger-ass song deserves to be in a museum. Also, that Blossom moment lives in my head rent-free. Again, these shorts are going to be short, just a cute animation with cute Pokemon. That climax was kind of forced, but it's one of my favorite ones. And as a bonus, Pokemon gave us a whole-ass movie to go with it, Pokemon the Movie 2000, released in 1999. If I can't trust Pokemon, who can I trust? The movie was okay, I guess. Unfortunately, after watching it, it's only the second movie, but I'm already starting to see some patterns.
An island!
In a store!
I've seen this movie!
In this movie, Ash, Misty, and Tracy, travel to an island, and I don't remember the name of it, where Ash is said to be the chosen one and takes part in a ceremony where he has to travel to 3 islands to collect orbs that are connected to the 3 legendary burbs. But things become serious when a Pokemon collector is abducting the burbs, which causes natural disasters all across Kanto, so he can eventually get the big one, Lugia. So now Ash and friends need to complete the ceremony to restore balance and save the world. So there are actually a couple things I remembered from this movie. For one is the new girl of the film, Melody. I think I had a crush on her as a kid. Also, this scene with Misty eating. I specifically remember this scene because it was a moment I realized that anime characters do that nom nom noise when eating.
It's totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just for some reason after watching this movie, I realized, wait, people do this in animation all the time. What the fuck? I thought the villain was kind of weak. I mean, he just wants to collect Pokemon, and he does it in kind of a dickish way. Whatever. That seems to be like the standard villain of Pokemon in general, so I didn't really care for him. The only thing of note that I wrote down is that he travels around using late 90s CG. I did like that Team Rocket actually had a role here, unlike the last one where they were just kind of there. Here they get a great moment where they actually help Ash and do a self-sacrifice to help save the day, and they do it for no credit. No one even knows they did it. That was a great moment for them. I liked it. So like I said, this movie does do something similar already to the first movie. The storm Meowth mentioned, while a cute joke, there are a lot more stuff that happens that are just kind of the same. Like Ash and friends arriving on an island in a storm, the intro being 10 minutes of an out-of-context scene of the villain doing some sus stuff, the first 30 minutes being mostly set up and exposition with nothing of note really happening, a climax where Ash dies, in quotes. Yes, it's only the second movie, and no, the entire thing isn't just a copy and paste job. There are a lot of original ideas here. But I just watched the first one, and then I watched this right after, so it was hard to not notice these things. For the record, moving forward, so I don't repeat myself, technical aspects like the animation, the music, the voice acting, directing, unless I bring it up or point it out, assume they were all good. And while I do still like this movie, it still hasn't hit me, you know? So far, they're just kinda alright. Again, I feel like unless you're a fan of Pokemon, I can't see other people being into this, because it's not really a great movie, you know? It's just kind of, yeah, it's a Pokemon movie. What else do you want, you know? But my hope going forward with these is that they start to take more risks, because I think the reason I don't like them is that they just feel so safe, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the anime has to keep going on, and sometimes these movies are considered canon, sometimes. And, you know, since it's a film based on a pre-existing franchise, there's not really going to be any big status changes, you know, no surprise deaths or departures of characters. Any new characters are contained in these films, so I care less about them. Like, I thought these movies would be more connected because, again, spoilers for a future video, they do actually set up the first movie in the anime in, like, several episodes, but they only do that for the first movie and never again, so it kind of makes them all feel less special. And I kind of wish they did do that, like the movies did have some bearing on what's happening. I get it, that they have to be their own original stories, 2-hour film or whatever, but like the way they set it up originally would have been much better in my opinion, rather than just the standard way every other anime franchise does their movies. Yeah, I know it's a franchise for children or whatever, but look, I'm just saying, if they're so self-contained, why not go nuts with it, right? Like, go super dark, go crazy with the story, introduce some unique characters and settings, you know, that they can do in the anime series otherwise. Something to make them different and unique, because otherwise they just feel like 2 or 1 hour and 15-minute long episodes, really. I just hope going forward they do try some different stuff, because, I mean, if I have to watch 20 more movies that are exactly like this, I'm probably going to go insane. Oh, and I guess, just to save you a comment, yes, I know Lugia was made exclusively for this movie and then was used later for the games. What a neat fact. What I want to know is why most people don't talk about this other thing, that fucking Weird Al Yankovic has a song in the credits of this movie called Pokemon. Why is this not national news? So I don't know if you can hear that, but I think my town is on fire, because you can just hear a ton of sirens and an alarm blazing right now. Pretty sure I should stop filming, but I gotta keep watching Pokemon, man. Pikachu Short 3, Pikachu and Pichu. It's okay. I have no real connection to it, it's cute. The only interesting thing I read about this short is that the Japanese narrator for the short, Noriko Sakai, was arrested in 2009 and later convicted of possession and abuse of drugs. As a result, the short was banned in Japan and hasn't seen a rerun or a release on home video or VOD in Japan since then. The most interesting thing about it is about drugs. So the third movie, Spell of the Unown, Entei, I used to own on VHS when I was a kid. I'm not going to explain what that is for the Zoomers, figure it out. In this movie, after researcher Spencer Hale, when investigating the Pokemon Unown, disappears, his daughter Molly, depressed as she's now alone with no parents, triggers the power of the Unown to create illusions around her home and town, turning it into crystal and giving her a dad, in the form of an illusion of the Pokemon Entei. Now she only needs a mom, and it turns out not only are Ash, Misty, and Brock, thank God he's back, at the town where this is happening, but also Ash's mom Delia shows up. She knew Spencer, and Molly, seeing a mom, kidnaps her, and now Ash and friends have to save her. Some of you probably feel, since I'm not sucking these movies dicks, that I'm probably being overly negative towards them because I'm not constantly praising them. I don't love them, really. It's mostly just a nostalgia thing that's kind of keeping me watching, but I don't think they're bad. That being said, I was not into this one. Alright, so first, some things I like. I do like how it's not some region or world-ending threat, it's just Ash trying to save his mom. I can get on board with that. I have a mom, I love my mom, I can understand that. It's relatable. I love the remix of the Pokemon Johto theme, which is the best Pokemon theme. This is not up for debate. That's about it. God, I fucking hated Molly. She's such a spoiled brat. Yeah, I get it, you're alone now, your dad is gone, your mom, I guess, was just somewhere else. As we see at the end of the movie, she's fine. But she's just a bitch, man. Like, she's so annoying. I don't care how old she is or how upset she was at the events or whatever. She almost destroyed her town, kidnapped a woman, almost killed 3 kids multiple times. It was just fucking annoying. She really is the main reason why I didn't like this movie, because it wants me to feel bad for her, like she's the victim. Well, too bad for her. One of my favorite pastimes is victim blaming, because none of this would have happened in the first place if it weren't for her. I just hate how she's just a part of this movie so much. I don't like her. I didn't want to follow her. I don't care what happens to her. But I'm gonna be honest, besides her, the movie itself doesn't really leave an impression on me. You have to understand, I'm so emotionless while watching these. It's just watching a bunch of Pokemon animation to me. There's no substance here. Again, they're made well. They're not badly made films. It's just as an adult, I don't get anything from these movies. Shut the fuck up. There are no deeper meanings or themes or jokes or anything you might have missed as a kid. Everything is very surface level. These are movies where you go in with certain expectations and they are met exactly, and that is so boring to me. I know we're only 3 movies in, but I really hope things get different later on. I don't care if it's good or bad. I just hope things start changing soon. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you here. This storm is picking up, and for some reason there are a ton of people fucking driving in it past my house all the time. I normally try to cut out all these car sounds and everything, but I'm very limited on time for filming this video. I really have to do it today. I can't do it any other time, so sorry if later on you start hearing all this noise in the background. Hopefully the background music or whatever I have drowns it out, but I really need to finish this. No, it's unprofessional or whatever, but I don't get paid for these videos. 4th Pikachu short. They play hide and seek and then fight a lawnmower. Pokemon Forever, Celebi the voice of the forest. I'm already running out of things to say. In this movie, Ash, Misty, and Brock, while traveling through some forest, encounter Celebi and a young artist named Sam. He's trying to protect Celebi from a poacher, but they all soon realize that was 40 years ago, as Sam has been transported to the future with Celebi's powers. And now the one after Celebi is a member of Team Rocket, so the kids must protect Celebi from bad guy number 3. Honestly, besides the fact that it's revealed that Sam is actually a young Professor Oak, I got nothing. Again, it's not that it's bad, it's just there's nothing new to add. And I don't feel like pointing out the things I don't like, because it's all the same shit I've said before. Same thing with the things I do like. The villain is boring, it has similar setup, plot progression. He has a fake out death, this time with Celebi. I liked Ash and Young Oak's friendship, I guess. But yeah, it's whatever. Most mid movie so far. So, this Pikachu short kind of sucks. Something about the Pichu brothers in a train. Also, the songs so far for these shorts have been awesome. The intro songs, as I've shown with Pikachu's rescue, have been great. But the one for this, Pokemon Hoedown, is just awful. Ew.
1, 2, 3, 4, the great outdoors is our back door. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're camping out and feeling fine.
The 5th movie, Pokemon Heroes Latios and Latias, is a milestone for Pokemon movies. For one, it's the last movie to be released in theaters outside Japan until the black and white era. And while the anime series has switched to being digital now, the movies for a time will continue to be traditionally animated, which I think is cool, makes them stand out more compared to the series. It's also the last one to be animated by Studio OLM. And according to a poll done by the Pokemon website in 2021, this is apparently the most popular movie based on the original series. I know why after watching it. For in-universe stuff, this is the start of the movies previewing Pokemon that will be introduced for the next generation, as well as F's in the chat for Misty, as this is the last movie she appears in. Moment of silence for Misty. I said a moment of silence. This is normally the part where I'd give a recap of the movie, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember what happens in it. The one thing is, I think in Pokemon history, this is the first time we get an actual on-screen permanent death of a Pokemon being Latios. Yes, Latios is dead. No F's in the chat for Latios, though. We don't do that for stupid animals. The only other thing I remember about this movie is that it's the one where a Pokemon, being Latios, is in love with Ash. That's not the first time, weirdly, but it's the first time they can turn into a human as well. Gee, I wonder why a bunch of anime fans voted this as being their most popular movie. It's a mystery. Other than that, I did like the town, Alto Mare. I thought the design of it was really cool. I like the villains, these two women who in the dub are part of Team Rocket. I mainly like them because they're hot. But yeah, it was a okay movie. Tip for you though, if you're looking for pictures of Latios, especially ones for this movie, turn Safe Search on. Please. Well, it was short-lived, but this is the last movie until Black and White to be featured with a Pikachu short. It's about Meowth getting fucked for no reason. You get no additional context. So now we are in the third generation of Pokemon, and now Ash and Brock are traveling with May and Max. And this movie heavily focuses on Max. He's my favorite character. So my notes for the plot say Pokemon Circus, cool, oh no, it's about Max. That's all I wrote. So from what I remember, Max is, I guess, some kind of chosen one or something who forms a bond with Jirachi, who goes to sleep every 1,000 years, I think. And the ringleader is an ex-member of Team Magma and wants to use Jirachi for bad stuff. And they do a road trip to some place to save the day. Yeah, I obviously wasn't paying that much attention to this one. Now, even though it stars my favorite character, and it's a new generation, the structure of the movie still hasn't changed. I guess this is the first human antagonist that actually has some sort of redemption when he basically realizes he fucked up, kind of like the real Team Magma. His assistant is really hot. The only thing that caught me off guard is May in this sings this lullaby, and it's very clearly the original Japanese actress singing it, not the dubbed one, and the transition between the voices is so funny and obvious.
That's a lullaby our mother always sang.
Then for some reason at the end they decide not just one actor but the whole cast of the dub should sing the lullaby. Man, I never considered how good deaf people have it until now. I bet you thought the rest of this movie was just going to be me shitting on these things, but guess what? I can say I genuinely liked this movie. That's right, Destiny Deoxys, certified banger. Now that there are no Pikachu shorts, the movies are now around 100 minutes instead of around 80. Oh yeah, a new thing these movies are doing now that I haven't mentioned is that they now give a Cliff Notes version of the anime plot about Ash traveling. I think these are very unnecessary because who the fuck is watching a Pokemon movie that hasn't seen the anime? Who's doing that? This movie, Ash and friends arrive in LaRousse City. I just watched the movie and I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing that. And while there, Ash meets Troy, a boy who is afraid of Pokemon, which means in this world he is fucked. And soon the city is suddenly attacked by Deoxys, who seems to be searching for something. That something is its friend, another Deoxys, who Tori has been befriending through, I don't know, magic sprite things. I don't feel like explaining it. But the humans don't know this right away, so the movie is them figuring out what's going on and how to stop Deoxys from fighting Rayquaza, who is attempting to protect his territory from the invader, as the two clashing would destroy the city. So I love that this film is framed like an alien invasion movie, finally something different. The characters can't outright fight Deoxys' clone army and they need to sneak around the city, make plans to restore power, get food. They're trying to survive essentially. I also think the side characters were great. I think they had just enough screen time for us to understand them, but not too much that they overshadow the main cast. Tori, for being kind of a secondary main character, is okay. My problem with the characters that are afraid or hate Pokemon in the Pokemon universe, you're just waiting for them to, you get over it by the end of their arc. Just being in a 2-hour film gives me less time to actually learn about him and understand him. Plus, there are several other characters in the Pokemon anime I liked way more that had way more time that have essentially the same trauma thing he's got. At this point too, I did notice the CGI integration is starting to look kind of scuffed. It was never seamless, but since CGI was early, I didn't pay it any mind. By 2004, I'm still not expecting amazing CGI, but I would hope they integrate it better to make it less noticeable because, it's Pokemon. They make a lot of money. But yeah, I like this movie. I thought it was actually fun and interesting, and I hope they keep changing up the format like this for future ones, as long as it's not just the same meeting a legendary Pokemon, trying to help it, forming a bond with the thing. Like, that would get annoying. So first, once again, F's in chat, as sadly, this is the last movie to be dubbed by 4Kids. Words cannot describe how genuinely sad I am. Also, apparently this movie was nominated for Best Anime Feature in the American Anime Awards, which I honestly have never heard of until looking that up, but it lost to Final Fantasy Advent Children. That is a huge tell of this movie's entertainment quality. So Ash and friends travel to this castle place where there is some ceremony about a great hero and his Lucario. And of course, Ash wins whatever competition they have and becomes the main dude, and the ceremonial staff he is given is housing the Lucario owned by that legendary hero, as he was sealed away inside hundreds of years ago. And after encountering Mew, yes, that Mew, an adventurer named Kid tries to catch Mew but scares Mew off, and it takes Pikachu and Meowth with it. So the gang with Lucario and Kid, who's not evil, she just wants to catch Mew, have to go to the Tree of Life to get Pikachu back. And Meowth, I guess. This movie is boring. For one, the dynamic between Lucario and Ash is so basic. Lucario's, that cool, powerful loner who feels betrayed and confused because his partner Aaron seemingly abandoned him. But Ash is the main character, and thanks to his optimism and can-do attitude, the two will definitely form a close bond. Barf. Also, it's another road trip type of movie revolving around the legendary Pokemon's connection to a certain place. I don't think this is going to be the last movie we see this either, considering it's happened like 3 times now, just a hunch. Also, we get another Ash fake-out death. Bruh, are we gonna get one of these every generation or something? I hope not. I guess the most interesting thing about this movie is that there is no villain, Like I said, Kid is just an adventurer seeking thrills in Pokemon. She's not malicious. While her actions do kick off the plot and things that happen, she's not doing it out of evil intent. They gotta put fight scenes in somehow, so the Tree of Life they go to has this security system thing that kicks in when Mew is injured. Which, looked cool. I liked the bit animation-wise. But story-wise, throwing this in at the last part of the film just felt like, oh, we gotta have an exciting climax or they'll get bored. Side note, I gotta say, I don't get why Lucario is so popular. Yeah, I get some people like his design and he's in general a good Pokemon, but come on, I care about him when B-Barrel's in the same generation. He should have been in Brawl. So the Pokemon Ranger movie, much like the first game, it exists. It's not hurting anyone. This is also the last movie to be animated traditionally, as after this they are all digital now. So, stop me if you heard this one before. A main character, this time being May, befriends a mysterious, almost mythical Pokemon, and this Pokemon has some special power, and in order to do the thing, they have to return/take them to a special location, and throughout the journey, the human and Pokemon bond, so now their future parting that it will eventually happen is now super sad. But uh-oh, a big bad guy is after him. And they beat him and then it ends. This is also, for the record, the longest Pokemon movie, clocking in at about 1 hour and 40 minutes, including credits. I have nothing to say, man. I said it all, didn't I? I do feel like I'm starting to realize why these plots bore me so much. It's because there doesn't seem to be any self-awareness to it. Like, remember Meowth made that joke in the second movie about how he's seen this somewhere before? That hardly if ever happens now. I'm being presented with the same skeleton, just with different skin. That's why I like the Deoxys one so much, because so far, there has been no movie like it. It stands out. The rest of these are pretty much the same movie, just replace the legendary Pokemon and which kid gets attached to it. You wouldn't notice a difference. Again, let me be clear, Pokemon fans, I'm not saying these are badly made movies. I'm just watching them back to back and I'm noticing a lot of similarities and it's starting to really bore me. Well, again, the next movie is a start of a new generation, so I gotta stop saying this. Hopefully, it becomes something different. So, like, I can't make this shit up, dude. Even Bulbapedia, whatever you want to call it, the Pokemon Fan Wiki, is saying these movies are the same. Look, it contains plot points similar to the previous 9 movies. It is unknown if this was intentional. Why does that matter? But you fucking believe me now? All these movies are becoming the same. They're fusing together. Even the fucking fans think so. You can only tell the difference based on Ash's outfit and who he's traveling with. By the way, Dawn is best girl, obviously. In this movie, Darkrai is bad, but it turns out he is good. And Dawn gets a lunar wing, which matters for like 1 episode in the anime. I didn't even mention the thing about Ash's aura from the last one, which also comes back in the anime. It's like, they really just pick and choose what stays consistent between the anime and movies. Yeah, that's all I have. Nothing to say. The intro song sucked. Moving on. Like, Brock isn't even on the cover of this. What the hell? He's a main character. Yeah, I can do a basic plot synopsis, pad out the video and give you context, but seriously, I would be saying the exact same things. Just, again, exchange the Pokemon and the main character that gets attached to it. So, just to show you, that I am actually kind of describing these pretty well. I will read just a basic plot synopsis blurb of this movie that you can find anywhere, and you'll see that their description sounds very similar to how I've been describing these movies. Giratina is the sole Pokemon living in the reverse world, a little-known realm adjacent to our own. Enraged when Palkia and Dialga disrupt time and space, it drags Dialga into the reverse world for a battle, but the conflict is broken up by a tiny Shaman, the Gratitude Pokemon. After departing the reverse world and meeting Ash and his friends, Shaman communicating telepathically. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like, every legendary Pokemon in these movies can talk to humans through telepathy or something. I don't know why, it's just a thing they can all do. Anyway, Shaman asks for help so it can be reunited with the other Shaman in the Gracidia Garden. Soon after Ash and his friends agree to assist Shaman, they are dragged into the reverse world and meet Newton Graceland, who's been researching the mysterious realm. Little do they know that Newton's former assistant Zero seeks to harness Giratina's power to rule the reverse world, even if that means destroying the real world. See what I mean? Again, it's just them meeting a Pokemon, they have to take it to a place, they meet some new character from the anime, the villain's just some generic bad guy. It's all the same, man. Like yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm so tired of watching these movies. I'm not having fun anymore. But we're almost halfway through, so I gotta keep going. I gotta keep doing it. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna do it for Stunfisk. Okay, I haven't mentioned it, but these first 3 movies in the Diamond and Pearl series are supposed to be a connected trilogy, sort of. The only thing really connecting them, though, is that Dialga and Palkia appear in all of them. That's it. That's why they're a trilogy, I guess. This is another movie that involves time travel, so I guess if it happens one more time, I might have to throw that into the trope pile. The gang go back in time to prevent some dick from tricking God that dooms the entire world later. What? Pokemon slaves are a thing now. I mean, yeah, it was a Pokemon movie. Cool. I got nothing. Alright, so this is the final Diamond and Pearl movie, and I actually kind of liked this one. I guess I should bring this up since I haven't talked about them in a while. You may have noticed I haven't been mentioning Team Rocket and their involvement in these movies. That's because they usually don't do anything since the second movie anyway. Now, I'm not being hyperbolic. They barely interact with Ash and friends or even the main conflicts nowadays. They're just in these movies as comedic relief, and that's it, and it's not really that funny. Now, the main reason I like this one is the villain. He's probably the best villain in any of these movies because he's such a bastard. He kidnaps the Zoroark and its kid, a Zorua, and blackmails the Zoroark to do his bidding, or he'll basically kill it and torture it, while also torturing the Zoroark. And even after the Zorua escapes and meets Ash, he still acts like he has it to keep using Zoroark's illusion powers. You just want to punch this guy. I loved him. Like, I hated him because of his actions in the film, and not because, you know, he was just an annoying character or anything. He's a genuinely good villain that you love to hate. I like this guy. Even seeing the way he was beaten with Zoroark using illusions to trick him and almost kill him was very satisfying and kind of out of nowhere for a Pokemon movie. Fortunately, other than that, the movie's fine. It's just a Pokemon movie. I will say it did feature the best animated thing I have seen in this movie so far, and it's this animation of this girl dancing. Why is this 5-second thing so well animated? I love it. I want a gif of that. So what's up, Brian? Why are there 2 movies here? What's going on? Why are there 2 like the games? Well, it's pretty much like the difference in versions with the games. The story is the same. The only minor differences with, you know, some environments, some inconsequential story beat, and the main legendary Pokemon. Now, I watched both because I didn't realize that 1, this was technically 2 movies, and B, they were the same until after I watched them. So yeah, technically I watched 25 movies in a week for this video, so if that doesn't deserve a like, comment, and subscribe, then what did I suffer for? Also, spoilers for a future video as far as the anime of Pokemon Black and White goes. I am not a fan, let's put it like that for now. You wanna know the worst part though? I've seen this movie twice technically, and I have nothing to say about it. Just go back to one of the previous movies where Ash bonds with a Pokemon and just replace that Pokemon with Victini. Same shit. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother with this one. You know why? Because again, going back to our friends at Bulba Garden, the Pokemon fan wiki, even they didn't bother to finish this movie's plot synopsis. Yeah, it stops like halfway through. And let me tell you, I've been using this Wikipedia all year, and they go into excruciating detail sometimes on the games, the movies, some individual episodes of the show have entire essays written about them. But even they couldn't bother writing another plot synopsis that is just the same movie with a different Pokemon, when the biggest site for info of the Pokemon franchise can't even be bothered. But why should I? No, this is a different Mewtwo from the first movie, so technically this is Mew 3. Look, I'm gonna be honest, much like the anime, I really don't like the black and white movies. They feel just so lazy in comparison to the previous ones. Like, look at the first shots of Ash, Iris, and Cylon here. That looks bad, I'm sorry. These are the first shots of our main character in your film, and it looks like this? Is anyone trying over there anymore? Speaking of Mew 3, here's another trope I like to add that these movies always have, is that there's a Pokemon that hates humans because one or more of them in the past did some bad stuff, so now that Pokemon is super specious. I mean, it was cool when he did it the first time. Also, this and the last movie that I didn't talk about, for some reason are barely over 60 minutes. If it weren't for the credits, it might be under that. You know, like the bare minimum for these to qualify as films. But the thing that sucks the most about it is, you know, all these Pokemon movies, including these two, usually had their climax start when there was about 30 minutes left in the film. So yes, the last 30 minutes of this, basically half the movie, is all climax. And in this movie, it all takes place in one room for its entirety. It is so boring. Okay, I'm starting to use the word boring too much, so it was, wearisome. That's a good synonym to describe this. Yeah, these movies make me weary. The only thing I liked about this one is that the city is named New Torque City. It's kind of cute. So now we are in the final 3 movies that are based on the anime series. These are based on Pokemon series X and Y. And, well, I don't care for the black and white series. I really don't care for the X and Y series. Again, you'll know in the future. The movie is just also not very good. The beginning is all exposition. Any kid watching this is probably asleep by now. Diancie, the main Pokemon, acts like she's going through some arc or development, but no, she doesn't really struggle with anything, have any real motivation or development, but the movie pretends like she does for some reason. It's just the standard, they have to take Diancie to a place. Whatever. Another thing I realized while watching these, especially when comparing it to the anime, is that a lot of the main characters in these films just become very watered down stereotype versions of their most basic character identities. Like you have Ash, who's your optimistic main character kun, the girl, and Brock or not Brock, and sometimes there is a kid. Like if you took them out of these movies and replaced them with some other character, you wouldn't notice a difference. It's not a great thing to say about your main characters. I guess the only thing you'd really miss is Pikachu, I guess, who by the way has a fake out death scene, which I'll admit I was surprised when I saw it, because I swear he had one before in a movie, but no, this is his first one, I guess. The antagonists could have been interesting, their designs are anyway, but I guess due to time, there's not much they did with them, which I thought their concept was cool. They're all these Pokemon hunters or something that know each other in some underground Pokemon hunting world. That sounds cool. Sure would have been cool to explore that. Yeah, this one was alright. I will say I'm pretty biased to desert settings and environments. It's a really nice aesthetic I love. I can get behind it. In this one, Ash meets Hoopa and finds out there is a dark Hoopa inside of him that has been sealed away, and when it is unleashed, everyone has to figure out how to get Hoopa to overcome his dark side so they can save I don't remember what this place is called. Looks cool though. So I did like how the antagonist is actually the Pokemon the kids befriend that is something different, and does add tension since they can't just, beat a bad guy up. Here they have to figure out how to help him. I really didn't like the pacing of this movie. It felt like it was going way too fast for some reason. Like, my 2-sentence synopsis, I said all that happened in like the first 20 minutes, and then the rest of the movie, because of Hoopa's powers, is just a huge battle between almost every legendary Pokemon, which is cool, but it's not as cool as I wanted, If you're gonna bust out all the legendaries, have it mean something, do it for like an anniversary thing or a special event, not some random X and Y movie. So yeah, this one was okay, I guess. So by Pokemon movie standards, it was pretty good. So I'll explain what it means in the next film, but this is the final movie to take place in the original anime continuity, as if that matters. This movie kind of annoyed me because of all the cliche shit in it. Like Volcanion being one of those Pokemon that hates humans because some of them did a bad in the past but warms up to our pro tags. Ash just randomly getting involved, like seriously, Volcanion just lands on him and he's literally being dragged along. This is the most forced reason he's had to be a part of a movie. Ash himself also really annoyed me. He's just way too optimistic in this. Constantly being dragged around, being beaten and shit on by Volcanion, and he just smiles and is like, hey, no problem, I love Pokemon. Ash has definitely changed over the years. I can see Ash from the original series getting at least a little upset at this situation, but this one's just such a cuck. Also, the villain is an evil advisor to a young, naive prince who he's manipulating to gain power, which I am surprised Pokemon has not done that yet. Team Rocket is actually more involved in this story than the other ones, which I liked. Here they're actually willingly working for the main villain, so they finally get something to do in the main story. But yeah, for the movie that is ending the anime continuity, I guess fittingly it's the same as all the rest. I can only pray to Lord Arceus that since we are now going off into a brand new territory, whole new thing, whole new continuity, whole new world, these next few movies are something different. I just want change. Alright, so you can probably notice a visual difference. My power is currently out and the storm is raging outside. Again, I really need to film this video now, so if you hear any stuff in the background, deal with it. Now, some of you might think this is just me as being, like, you know, lazy or rushing this, but no, I really have no other time to film this movie than today. It just sucks that there happens to be a fucking storm going on while I'm doing it. So going forward, the rest of the Pokemon movies are now in their own continuity. Yes, it's no longer taking from the original anime series, it's essentially a soft reboot. Which kind of sucks because I actually really like the Sun and Moon series, it's probably my favorite one, and despite me not liking the movies, I do like the characters in that series, so I am kind of disappointed I won't see them in a film. Now as far as this new continuity goes, I Choose You, named after the first episode, it was okay, I guess. Now despite it sharing the same name of the first episode, it's not a full movie remake of that, which is what I thought it was when I first started watching it. That part is only the first 10 minutes-ish. The rest is like an amalgamation of original story and a couple of the anime storylines mixed together. The main plot revolves around that moment where Ash sees Ho-Oh at the start of his journey, and in this one he's given the Rainbow Wing, which is given to the Rainbow Hero who is destined to battle Ho-Oh. Then along the way they throw in the Charmander storyline, who has a connection to the main antagonist of this one, Cross, and the Butterfree one for some reason. And yes, none of the original companions you know are going to appear in these movies. There's no Misty, no Brock, we're not going to see May or Dawn. Ash mostly travels alone in these movies, and in this film he's joined by Verity and Sorrel from Sinnoh. They're alright. I will say, while I did like it, I kind of wish the movie picked a lane. I like the new stuff, but the inclusion of Butterfree is like, why? It just felt like nostalgia bait. The movie literally halts to have the Butterfree releasing scene. It doesn't matter in the movie or the plot, it could have been cut, you'd miss nothing. The Charmander stuff was better and integrated a lot more seamlessly into the narrative. It not only develops the main antagonist, who was the one that abandoned Charmander, but Ash's development as when he uses it as a Charmeleon and loses to that guy. It makes Ash have to think about his training style and choices since, well, he lost to a huge asshole who doesn't care about Pokemon. Like, that was a great seamless way to introduce it, but again, just like, the Butterfree thing just felt like, why is it here? Why did you put it in the film? And I think aspects like the pacing, the characters, the overall story were pretty good. For me though, what kept it from being great was I wanted something more. Like, come on, you essentially rebooted Pokemon. Imagine the crazy shit you can do now with all the things that have come out in the past 20 years. But really, it just felt like, again, if you haven't seen the Pokemon anime, a lot of the choices and narrative decisions in this movie would kind of mean nothing, because it's just mostly, oh, I remember that from the anime. Again, it's not bad for as far as an intro into this new world is, I guess, but I really hope they do something more with it. Also, the most cursed thing in Pokemon I have seen so far is Ash going to the real world. Terrifying. Okay, so what was even the point of integrating things from the original series in the last movie? You're just gonna go off and do your own thing anyway, so it was for nostalgia purposes, huh? I mean, I said I was hoping they picked a lane, and they did, I guess. I really don't want to describe what happens in this movie, because as the title suggests, it's more about us, or all of the characters in this. Like an ex-athlete who gave up running, a con man who just wants to make his niece happy, a researcher with social anxiety, and an old woman who doesn't care for Pokemon. And there's a little girl who's trying to help a legendary Pokemon. So yeah, it's one of those movies where it's a bunch of different characters with all their individual stories that eventually, you know, come together toward the end. But, you kind of fucked up there, because you may have noticed I didn't mention someone. As yes, the one with the least to do and the least going on in this movie is Ash, our main character. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Ash didn't need to be in this movie. He's very inconsequential to things that happen. Yes, some of his actions and words help egg on the other characters to take action, but it didn't have to be Ash. I'd argue if it was one of the original characters for this film, that moment would have been stronger, but he's just the main character, so he's got to be in it, I guess. Now, I did like the film. It was a good time. I do like how it focuses on so many characters whose stories all intertwine and connect as the story goes on. Again, it's something new and different that Pokemon hasn't done before. And Ash is there. Yeah, really my main issue with the film, keeping it from becoming something I could probably say is my favorite Pokemon film, probably the best one, is the integration of the main character. He so does not need to be here. At least the first movie, it was about him. He had something to do, but already these movies are becoming like the ones before where our main character is just there to talk about friendship. I also think the movie went on for too long. It's an hour and a half, but it really feels like some scenes could have been cut or edited down. Like sometimes I was just checking the time like, oh, we still got this long left. Genuinely, I think if this was a shorter movie and you cut Ash entirely, this could probably be one of the best Pokemon animations ever. But what we got was good. I mean, I still liked it. I'm just not loving it yet. So yeah, Deadpool has invaded children's animation now. Detective Pikachu, I'm still convinced to this day, was a fever dream we all had. When you heard Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu admit, we all thought it was just a meme. But then even when I was watching this movie, when it came out in theaters, I'm still convinced to this day that this is just a fan film on YouTube that everyone was tricked into thinking is an actual official Pokemon movie. I mean, I guess either way you look at it, I like this movie, it's just a fun time. If you don't know, the movie follows Tim Goodman, who is told his father, Henry, died in a car crash. When going to set his affairs in order, he finds a Pikachu that talks, but he's the only one that can understand it, and the Pikachu has amnesia and only remembers he was Henry's partner, and they were investigating a mysterious substance called R. So now Tim and Yellow Lantern have to solve the mystery of what happened to his dad and what R is in Rhyme City. I mean, yeah, like I said, the movie's just a fun time. It doesn't have to be anything super overly complicated or complex. It's just a movie that doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I love it for it. I mean, like, there's just some moments in this film that make you think, holy shit, Pokemon actually let this fly? Like, you know, Pokemon, the thing that's trying to be the most wholesome, most child-friendly franchise in existence. Like the scene where Tim pretends to pour gasoline on a Mr. Mime and set him on fire. What the fuck? This is Pokemon. Or just lines like this.
Not everyone can pull off wearing the skull of their dead relative, but, you know, you sure can.
Yeah, it's not explicit or adult, but come on, half the things said and done in this film as jokes, you would have never thought Pokemon would even associate themselves with. And for that, considering how it took some small risks like that, and it has kind of an original story compared to what I've seen before, I think this is the best Pokemon movie. I have said it, so therefore it's fact. What were you expecting me to say about this one? For those that haven't seen it, this is a remake of the first Pokemon movie. Like, literally, it's a full remake. Like, there's some minor changes, a different cast, obviously, but it's the first movie, it's just made with CG now. So really just go back in the video and watch what I said about the first movie up to the Pikachu short. It's exactly the same. So here we are, the final Pokemon movie to be released as of this video, Secrets of the Jungle. As of this video, this was the last movie to come out with Ash as the main character of the series, and at least as far as my knowledge goes, there is no information or news about the next Pokemon movie yet. So this is also possibly Ash's last movie as well, and for what it was okay. So this movie is Tarzan, and Ash is kind of like Jane. When he meets a jungle boy named Coco who was raised in the jungle by a Pokemon called Zarude, upon meeting Ash and seeing the human world for the first time, Coco wants to find out more about his parents and his human roots, but this brings them to clash with the president of the Biotope Company, who has some big plans for the jungle and the Pokemon living in it for the good of his company. That's right, this Pokemon movie has an environmental message. Well, I guess all of them do, technically. And yeah, I liked it well enough. It was definitely one of the better movies I've seen. The relationship between Ash and Coco I liked. Ash even mentions his dad in this movie.
I started thinking about my own dad.
That had me do a triple take, not gonna lie. I think Coco was fine. I wish he had more difficulty adjusting to the idea he was human, since he thinks he's a Pokemon. He can even talk to them. I just feel like the turnaround was too quick. He spends like a day with Ash and is instantly like, oh shit, I guess I am human. I did like the bad guy because he's just fucking crazy, which for Pokemon, just having a guy that's just fucking insane is pretty new. I mean, he even murdered Coco's parents. That's fucking ice cold, and that's something I thought I would see in an animated Pokemon movie anyway. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention them in the last two, but yeah, for some reason, Team Rocket is also in this new continuity of films. I don't really understand why, but yeah, they are also there. And I'll say, for possibly the last movie starring Ash, could have been worse. And yeah, that's it. That's all the Pokemon movies, which compared to my other stuff, wasn't too bad, but watching them in a week was probably not the best for my declining mental health. But have you seen these movies? What do you think of them? Do you think my opinion that most of these movies were just made with Control-C are bullshit? Let me know in the comments and be sure to leave a dislike. Till next time, trainers, remember, the first Digimon movie was better than any of these.
Don't forget to subscribe.